Hello and welcome to Start Over Coffee. My name is Shaquila Smith and I lead the community here at Start. Start Over Coffee is all about having conversations with creators in the Salt Lake City area. And for this episode, we'll be interviewing Taylor Aramburu, CEO and founder of Shaggy Badger and Don Aramburu Salsa. Shaggy Badger is a company who helps artists manage their merchandise for fans. This is online and in person. And Don Aramburu Salsa is a new local homemade salsa company in Salt Lake City. And for this episode, we'll be discussing how it is to manage two different companies in two different industries. So, hey, Taylor, how are you? I'm so excited to have you on the podcast.
Good, yeah. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. This is great. I'm really excited.
Yeah, of course. I feel like I haven't seen you for so long. It's so weird. It's so weird, especially with COVID, but then like before even COVID too, I haven't seen you for so long. So I
Yeah,
think it's been like a year and a half at least.
I know. Yeah, it has been a bit. And like you said, especially with the virus and everything, it kind of is a bummer that you can't see as many people these days.
Yeah, and so many changes.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
many
yeah.
changes. Yeah. So tell everybody listening kind of about yourself and what you're currently working on to get everyone familiar and up to speed about who you are.
Yeah. So my name's Taylor Aramburu. I'm currently working on a couple different projects. There's two really that I want to talk about today. One, I own a band merchandise business here in Utah that we print band merchandise, obviously, and work with local artists and mainly just bands like on the West Coast, musicians, everything like that. But we also help them to improve their merchandise systems, and so like keeping track of inventory, what's in the trailer. A lot of times when these musicians go on tour, it gets really sticky in terms of trying to keep track of everything. And really, merchandise is one of the ways, if not the biggest way, that artists make money. And so, like our business, it's called Shaggy Badger, um, really tries to improve and optimize these systems in order for these musicians to make the most out of their career, their music career. And then um, also, kind of a newer project that I've been working on is called Don Aramburu Salsa Company, and I've been selling and starting my own home delivery salsa business here in like Salt Lake, Utah, Davis County, just here locally. So, kind of two very different things, but I'm excited about both of them, and yeah, it's been great to work on. So.
I think it's so cool. I when I initially heard about you doing the salsa company, I personally love salsa. Like I can eat chips and salsa every day if I had to. But I thought it was so interesting how you went from clothing to salsa. Like
Yeah.
it's like two different industries. So I'm just curious, like what inspired you to like do the salsa company alongside your clothing business for bands?
Yeah, so really it was triggered by the pandemic and everything shutting down because we had kind of a lot of momentum. We were working with a lot of bands. A lot of our bands were touring. And then in last March, the coronavirus pandemic hit and it really slowed things down, especially because bands couldn't tour anymore. And not only do we manage like online sales for bands, like their merchandise and everything, but a huge part of the business was helping bands manage their tour inventory and getting ready for tour and everything like that. So when half the business is gone, it really slowed down. And so for a couple months there, kind of finding creative ways to keep it afloat and try to help bands out as much as we could. And I think the salsa business mainly came out of like I had a little bit more time on my hands, and
Yeah.
usually the businesses that I start or like to work on, they're hobbies first for me. Like I'm a huge music fan, and so I naturally just kind of went into that. And I make salsa all the time, and I'm really huge food fan, I guess. And so it kind of just naturally went into, well, I like to start businesses and I love marketing, so like let's see if we could sell it. And we started to give it to some friends and family, and it was positive feedback. So thought like, while I have this time on my hands, might as well just go for it. So
I think it's so cool. I've never had your salsa, which I need to, but
yeah, I'll send you
your
some for
yeah,
sure.
thanks. I would
Yeah.
love that. I'll purchase some. I want to support your business, but I just have to say your marketing is fantastic. Like your website is so cool. I'm like, I
Oh,
would
thank
think
you.
that you've been doing it for 5 years.
Oh,
Like you wouldn't
thanks.
think you're new. So, yeah, of course. I think your
Yeah,
marketing is on point.
yeah, honestly, that's like a lot of people that try the salsa, they're like, "Oh, like I love the salsa. This is great. Like I've never had guac like this before, whatever." But honestly, that's the biggest compliment. I love when people say like, "Oh, like I like your branding," or like, "I like your marketing," because that's really what I'm passionate about doing. And so it's yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I know that you're naturally a marketer. So what inspired you to be an entrepreneur? And because you're amazing at marketing, and I think you're amazing at starting businesses, obviously. Like you are so driven, and I think it's so cool that you're doing two businesses at one time. So what kind of inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
No, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I've always really wanted to start my own business and to be an entrepreneur. Like growing up, just like middle school, high school, I'd always have like a lawn mowing business or like things like that. Just like it doesn't really matter what the business is for me. Just like I think it's the thrill of having it be like it depends on you. Like if you take days off, then it's like you're gonna see it hurt like your business. But if like you work really hard and you put a lot of effort into it, you also see a lot of effort like come back with your own business. And so I
Yeah.
really love that part about it. And so I think that's probably my favorite part about like starting a business or being an entrepreneur is that um I mean it's not instant gratification. I was going to say instant gratification, but having it
Well, it's fun to
yeah,
create. Like
yeah,
there's
it's
something
so
about
fun.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun to be able to kind of be in control of things and have a vision and know where you want to go. So, yeah, I really enjoy that part.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to say about like the creating process. Like, I think it's funny you say instant gratification. Well, there is somewhat of that. It may not be in like money terms and like
Yeah.
revenue stream, but there is. And it's kind of funny. It's weird how you have this vision in your brain and then like see it come to life. Like, it's so
Mhm.
awesome
Yeah.
when you see it all come together and all the pieces. Um, I find myself sometimes being in like documents and Excel spreadsheets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I wasting my time? But it's like the process of organizing and then you have to go out and do it or whatnot. It's just there's a long process. But
Totally.
it always pays off. I'm curious to kind of dive a little bit more about the marketing aspect of the salsa company and then the merchandise company for bands. I mean, what have you learned in the transition of marketing one industry to the next? Like, how different is it, or is it very similar?
Yeah, so both of them are they're super different. I think that's another reason why I wanted to start something else in my free times because I
Yeah.
feel like marketing Shaggy Badger and that band merchandise company, it's a lot more like B2B advertising,
Mhm.
where it's like business to business, or I like to say business to bands, because it honestly is trying to get another business on board with your vision, what you want to do. Because we're not selling straight to like a customer, we're selling more toward, we're trying to get as many bands as possible onto our platform to help them manage their inventory, buy merchandise for them, and all of that. And so the marketing for that is more, you have to make one on one connections. And so it's, like I said, I'm a big music fan. So a lot of the times it was like I would go to a show and then I'd hang around after and either talk to the person that runs their merchandise and say like, what are some problems you're facing, or I would like go straight to the band and say like, hey, I love your stuff. Like here's how I might be able to help out. And so I feel like at least on the Shaggy Badger side, it was a lot more one-to-one connections. But with the salsa, it's a lot more B2C marketing in terms of we're selling a product straight to consumer. Our business plan is never to really have our salsa in store. And so um, we're we're still making connections like that, but it's a lot different marketing. We're a lot more successful in putting out like influencer marketing, Facebook advertising, things like that. And so they're both really different, but you kind of have to approach them with different marketing strategies.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I could see that. I think it's interesting though that no matter if it's B to B to B to C, it's about relationship development. And I think a lot of people don't, I mean, marketing, it branches over that, the relationship development. It's not just sales, it's marketing too, because the way you approach it, I think you kind of like touched upon that. I think that is so true. And I think it's funny the learning curve of creating a salsa company to a merchandise company. I think that there is a lot to learn as far as different strategies for marketing, but also like the way you talk to people, the different ways you talk to people. And that's really interesting. So I kind of want to ask you as far as like your vision for the salsa company. Are you going to, so I think you mentioned like you don't want to be in store. So are you going to be independent? What's your vision long term for it?
Yeah, so long term, I mean, we just started. I mean, we've only been doing it for about 3 or 4 months officially, and so long term, our vision right now is to, in the next couple of months, be in a location, like a brick and mortar location, so that people can do pickup or we can deliver from there. Just have a bigger kitchen, and so that's currently the plan now. And yeah, like I said, I mean, our business plan is not to have it in store, because like our main value proposition is to deliver fresh salsa. We hand make, or yeah, we make it the day of, and so it's completely fresh, and we deliver it right to your door, rather than a lot of the times people will say like, well, how long can I put this in my pantry? And it's like you can't put it in your pantry at all because it's really fresh salsa. So
Right.
it's like it has to be eaten within a couple days, or same day really. So yeah, having it in store would not, it's not necessarily our business plan, but yeah, it's new, and I'm really excited about it. And really where I see it going is having a couple locations, kind of like these cookie business where you can get delivery. If you're a business, you can cater meetings, things like that.
I think that's so fun. So I think what intrigues me about the business model of like delivering right now is I'm sure, I mean, people love that with COVID and an in-store location. I find that like really fun. I could see the place being like a fun place to go. Will you have like dine-in or is it gonna just be pickup? Or like what's your vision there? Um, because I could see it kind of being like Nacho Daddy, locally
Yeah.
here in Salt Lake, something like that. But I could also see it being like just a fun, like quick place to grab your salsa and go home, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, mainly it's focused on pickup, or takeout. We
cool.
wouldn't really have any like in-store seating or anything like that. But like if you want to stop by and pick it up same day, because you're on your way to a meeting and need to cater a bunch of salsa, and your whole team doesn't want to eat sugar cookies at noon, or like a 10 o'clock meeting, then there's that option. But yeah, the main focus of the business model right now is just to have like in-store locations be focused on pickup, and then also just like a central location for our delivery drivers to go out and deliver.
Cool. So currently right now, do you have a kitchen or are you just working it from like your home?
Yeah, so this is crazy because Utah is one of two states that has this law called the Home Food Act, which allows you to run a food business from your home. And so we're currently operating out of like
Interesting.
this dedicated kitchen in my in-laws' house. They have like a basement, kind of like a basement apartment. But they have like a pretty big kitchen down there. And so we basically moved in like all of our boxes,
Cool.
all of our equipment. And so like we basically use like this basement kitchen to like make all of our salsa. And then we have our delivery drivers come and pick it up and deliver to, um, I mean, we deliver from Utah County to Davis County. So they deliver
Oh,
all over.
wow.
But yeah, so currently we're in like a residential area. Um, but I mean, that's also the plan, is to expand to a commercial kitchen and location.
Oh, that's cool. I think there's, like, something to be said about, like, the homemade salsa being actually made from home.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
dig
It's fun.
that. I didn't know that. I knew nothing about the food industry and how to get, like, started, so it's intriguing to me. I don't know. What's kind of the biggest learning curve there? Did you know, like, before going in, or have you just learned along the way?
Yeah, it's mainly been learning along the way, because I had no idea about the
Yeah.
like the Home Food Act as well, and I had like zero experience in like creating a food business,
Mm,
and so it was kind of a long process, like months, to kind of figure out how we can do it, how we have to have the label, what we have to say on the label,
for
um,
sure.
like do our due diligence. And so if someone does put it like in the pantry, for example, and it goes bad, then like we're not like getting sued saying like, hey, this made me sick, things like that.
Oh, that's a
So
good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, food is definitely a
Huh.
different challenge, but it's actually a lot less complicated so far than I thought it would be, because of this unique law. So
Oh, that's cool. Do you feel like, I think this is just more of a personal question for you on your business, but do you feel like with COVID, it's helped or hurted the salsa like thing? Do you think that once it's lifted, it'll be like growing way faster? Or do you think that just because the current climate and like the delivery process that you have, it's been going like pretty smoothly?
yeah, I mean, I don't want to say like coronavirus helped anything, because it
Yeah.
is like a super like
Yeah. Yep.
unfortunate thing. But like at the delivery business,
In
it's been,
particular. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like more people are more keen to use delivery and try it out, and people that normally want
So
to have
true.
things delivered, are starting to kind of uh, jump on that. I guess I was talking to my I actually came up with my parents a couple weeks ago that they had like never used DoorDash or have never used like any of
Yeah.
these food delivery apps, and they just said like they're always like super sketched out about it. But like now that coronavirus hit, people are like trying that more. They're having their grocery, doing the pickup, and so I think ultimately it's helped us a little bit, having
Yeah.
people, yeah, more keen to delivery
Yeah.
services.
That's interesting. I am such a lazy person sometimes when it comes to like dinner in particular. Dinner is like the one meal that I'm like, I don't know, like maybe we'll do takeout or something.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
will be like so upfront. The one thing that turns me kind of away from DoorDash sometimes and just the other apps like Uber Eats is the tax fee is ridiculous sometimes. I'm like,
yeah,
whoa, like it's way more than my meal. I'd rather just like go grab it, just go drive and grab
yeah,
it. And but then some people just like the convenience fee, like, so but I guess it just depends on who you are. It's interesting. Are
yeah. No, that's a good point, because
Yeah.
people like that. That's why we have our own drivers as well, to kind of avoid that, because we could just partner with DoorDash or some of these other companies, but like you said, they charge quite a bit of like a big chunk, and also you're not getting like the full sale that you would have if you just do it in house. And so that's kind of another part about our business model, is to have those dedicated delivery drivers, so that we kind of avoid those high fees.
Huh, that's so cool. I like that about kind of what you're doing. Um Question, this is for me and I think maybe some other people that possibly are listening that are interested in knowing, but how would we order delivery? Is it just directly from your website? Is it on your, social media, or is it on both? Like what is a good way to get some deliveries from salsa from you guys?
Yeah, both. So I
Okay,
mean, we're on Facebook and Instagram, but if
cool.
you want to order salsa, you can go to our website. It's Don, like Don, and then Aramburu, which this is probably like a bad business name, because no one knows how to spell it. But
No, I think
it's
it's cool.
ARAMBURU, and then it's just donaramburu.com, and then you can just order from there. So
I have a question regarding your last name. It might be totally off topic, but maybe it's not. Where is it
yeah.
from? Like, where is it originated from?
Yeah, it's Spanish Basque actually. So
That's
it's
cool.
like northern Spain, like that kind of
Yeah,
area.
it totally
So
fits. I think it
yeah,
totally fits your salsa.
yeah,
I'm like, it kind of looks like it could be from like Spain or something, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to assume. Oh, that's so funny. Well, that's cool.
yeah,
I take
yeah. No,
that.
it's and that's the funny thing is because when we send our salsa out to these influencers, like at the in the beginning we didn't really say like, okay, here's how to say the names of the salsa, here's how to say our name, and so you'd get like a whole mixed bag of like Don Aramburu's Guajillo salsa, and it's like just because it's hard to pronounce if you don't know what it is, but
Yeah, that's
so we had to kind of
funny.
add a pronunciation guide like on our website and
Oh, yeah,
social
that's
media and everything
smart.
like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny when I mean, for us too at Start, sometimes people just call us like STRT.
yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, I mean that works. But
yeah,
I mean it's wrong, but there's no A either. So then there's like people, sometimes pick up on it, some people don't. But yeah,
yeah,
that's funny. With business names, it's like you don't think about it when you're creating it until like after you're like, oh dang it, people will probably say this wrong.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't bother us at all. It's just like for marketing purposes, like it
Yeah.
might be hard to tell your friend about if you don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I want to kind of circle back before, we finish this podcast on just Shaggy Badger and the challenges there. I mean, everybody's been hurt a little bit by COVID, obviously. I mean, at least a little bit. And some have lost their jobs, their businesses, like just horrible things. And I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that you've faced with Shaggy Badger and how you've gotten through those? And I mean, now that you have this new cool salsa company and hopefully like 2021 ends up a little bit different, and both of your businesses could grow and prosper. But as of now with Shaggy Badger, like what are the challenges you had and are going through and how you're getting through those right now with just no touring?
yeah, so the no touring thing's like a huge part of like how the pandemic affected
Yeah.
Shaggy Badger and that sort of business. But one thing that it did, like a positive from that, was that online sales have increased because people want to support these artists and their favorite bands and are
Yeah.
trying to do like something to support them, anything they know how to, and so
Yeah.
that side of the business has increased a little bit, but also bands now are a little more open to trying new things and trying to find new sales avenues or like sales channels,
Yeah.
or see how they can kind of tighten it up a little bit and figure out like more like the operations side of it. And so that's kind of been a plus in opening more doors and talking to more like record labels and bands about like partnering and everything. But yeah, it's definitely still been a challenge because with those open doors comes like, oh, like we really don't have the funds right now because we haven't
Yeah.
been able to tour in almost a year, and so it's kind of give or take there, um, like on the Shaggy Badger side. But I think finding new ways to pivot and new ways to kind of be creative with
Yeah.
how the business is run and how the business is managed. I think that's kind of that has been the main takeaway for me, at least, like when we're trying to manage Shaggy Badger and see like how we're going to stay afloat, how we're going to get more bands on,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So
Most
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, just pivoting really.
Yeah, no, I think that's like a huge thing is just figuring out different ways to, I mean, touch your customers and sell to your customers and then be convenient at the same time and just find different avenues and ways to still be alive as a business. I think
Yeah,
that's so real for a lot of people. Um, and it's so crazy to see the community just be so supportive of one another in like the business realm, small businesses, local businesses, I mean, you name it. It's just crazy how supportive the community has been. I mean, across the country, I think, but I could say for Salt Lake, I think everyone's been super supportive of one another, especially like
Yeah.
artists and their fan base. It's so cool hearing that. And it's very like super inspiring and hope, like it gives me so
Yeah.
much hope, you know?
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see, and hopefully we don't have too much longer of trying to like make things work
Yeah.
differently, and like we can just as a society get back to kind of some sort of normal, and yeah, but
Yeah. Have you, this is so random and off topic, but have you do you follow or do you know of the dude with the sign? He's like
yeah,
on social
yeah,
media. Yeah. And
he's
he was
great. Yeah,
he was holding a sign I saw the other day. It said like, I just want to go to a concert or something along the lines of
yeah,
that. And I just like, I mean, I think there's a lot of people dying to go to back to concerts. And I think your business will really serve to people once concerts are up and running. And I think there's just going to be a surplus of people wanting to go to concerts. Like I'm dying
yeah.
to go to a concert. They're
Same.
so
Yeah,
fun. They're
yeah,
so
for
fun.
sure. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely the hope, is trying to connect with artists that they're gearing up for this big surge and like people
Yeah.
wanting to go to shows and everything. And yeah, I really hope it's sooner rather than later, because just considering like not only these artists but also like these venues, like our local venues we have in town,
For sure.
like how much longer they can survive too, and things like that. So yeah, yeah, hopefully things get back to normal here
Well, and
soon.
it's crazy too. Like this whole thing has really brought to light of like how everything works together. Like like you said, the venue, the production teams, the people who do camera and photography for concerts, like they all like just rely on each other.
Hmm.
And if one crumbles, the other will, and the other will, and it just sucks. It's a downward world spiral, how fast it could be. But I really admire the way you've approached, you know, your businesses, and creating a new one's really cool. I think, you know, I could personally say like there has been a lot of growth and struggle like over the year, like just equally probably the equal amounts. And I think it's like cool to see businesses like yourself and entrepreneurs like yourself just go through that and just chug through it. Like I love it and I appreciate it and I admire it and I think it's so cool. So what is some advice you could give to people listening right now, some other entrepreneurs on, I mean, anything really. I think you could bring some really cool insight to other entrepreneurs that are listening.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
I think like if I could say anything, it'd probably be that like no idea is like too crazy, and that anything like you can test anything. Um, like at the start of 2020, I would have no idea that we'd be selling salsa and
I think
making
it's so
salsa,
cool.
and like having it be to the point where in like December it was just like, oh my gosh, like this is
Yeah.
crazy, like the amount of salsa we're putting out and everything like that. And so I would say just yeah, like if you have an idea, test it. Like if you're on the fence about something, then um like try it out. Like it's I think it's so much better trying it out and realizing that it's not going to work out than not doing it and just constantly wondering why. And like if you're that passionate about it, I think giving it a true shot and trying it out, I think would not only help it to see if it's viable or not, but also like I feel like you learn so much from it. And like with the pandemic and how Shaggy Badgers kind of worked out, I mean, I've been working on it for about 4 years now. And if something like this pandemic crushes it to where like we're out of business and like I have to stop doing it, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, yeah, I would be bummed and like sad, but it wouldn't have felt like lost time or that we wasted 4 years in doing something, because of like all of the things that we've learned doing that, and all of the good experiences we've had and the good connections. And so I think everything can be taken as like a learning process as well. So if like you try it and it doesn't work, chalk it up for like you learned from it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just to go out and do it and to try it. And that's why I like START so much, because it gives these entrepreneurs kind of a community and a support system to have people, to encourage people to try things and encourage people to just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, then, do something else, or be a part of something else. So that's something I really appreciate about START.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And I totally resonate with your advice. I totally think that. I mean, just go do it, try it. If it doesn't work out, you learn something. Take everything as a learning lesson. And one more thing that is really important. Can you tell everybody listening kind of where we can find Shaggy Badger, your salsa company once again, and yeah, that'd be so appreciated. And again, I just really appreciate you being here.
Yeah. So for Shaggy Badger, just shaggybadger.com, or like Facebook, Instagram, just Shaggy Badger. We're on there. But for Don Aramburu, like the salsa stuff, just donaramburu.com, also on Facebook, Instagram, things like that. You can always, I think we have like an email option. You can
Cool.
email us, but you could just put it in order as well, or
Yeah.
email us about Shaggy Badger if you're an artist and want to check it out. But yeah, no, thanks so much for having me on. It's been great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Taylor. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
If you'd like to learn more about START, visit STRT.com.